Prince Harry. Oh God, of all the low of all lows, why accept an award that the mother of the person whose honour the award is in does not want you to receive? And for good reason. Instead of stepping back gracefully and acknowledging that perhaps it's not wise and perhaps he should sit this one out, Prince Harry this week accepted the Pat Tillman Award, which was meant for ex-military personnel who have shown exceptional courage. Now, Pat was an NFL sensation who quit a multi-million-dollar contract to fight for his country. Sadly, his time was cut short when he was killed by friendly fire in Afghanistan. He was an American hero, an idol, and the award was set up in his honour. On Thursday, it was given to Prince Harry for his work on Invictus, despite the fact that he is not American, and also against a backlash, a petition with over 70,000 signatures and calls from veterans for him to reject it. And Pat Tillman's mother, referring to Harry as controversial and divisive, she suggested there were far more deserving people who went unnoticed because they didn't have Harry's profile. Now, of course, Harry did serve on 2 frontline tours in Afghanistan and spent 10 years in the British Armed Forces. And ESPN, who hosted the awards, have previously said that Harry was being honoured for his tireless work in making a positive impact for veteran communities and also doing that through the power of sport. The ceremony, presented by Meghan's Archetypes podcast chum Serena Williams, was attended by some high-profile stars, many of whom did not stand when Harry went to pick up his award. Most notably, Venus, Serena's sister, and Pat Tillman's wife, who sat rooted in her seat with what can only be described as a cold, glazed stare. Pat Tillman's mother did not attend.
Once hailed as the soldier prince, a symbol of courage and loyalty, Prince Harry now stands accused of losing the last shred of his credibility. The very man who once wore the uniform with pride is being condemned for accepting an award meant to honour true veterans. Tonight, we uncover how this single ceremony became the low of all lows in Harry's royal downfall. Prince Harry arrived at the Veterans Award ceremony with cameras flashing, smiles fixed, and speeches rehearsed. But behind the polite applause, there was tension. Many veterans, both in the UK and the US, questioned why Harry was even being honoured. They saw it not as recognition of service, but as a performance for PR. One critic bluntly said, "He's turned his military past into a Netflix storyline." When Harry took the stage, he spoke about sacrifice, brotherhood, and the meaning of service, but as his words echoed through the hall, so did whispers of disbelief. Veterans online slammed his remarks as self-serving and insincere. They claimed Harry no longer understands the values he once fought to protect: loyalty, humility, and honour. As one ex-officer put it, "You can't monetize pain and still call it duty." Within hours, social media lit up with fury. Hashtags like #StolenValorHarry and #VeteransDeserveBetter began trending. Royal commentators accused him of using his Invictus Games brand to polish a damaged image. Others said accepting this award was tone-deaf, especially as many soldiers still struggle without recognition or support. The narrative quickly shifted from celebration to condemnation.
I'd like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to everyone at the Pat Tillman Foundation, led by Marie Tillman-Shenton, who I'm so honoured is here tonight. I'd also like to acknowledge the Tillman family, especially Mrs. Mary Tillman, Pat's mother. Her advocacy for Pat's legacy is deeply personal and one that I respect. The bond between a mother and son is eternal and transcends even the greatest losses. The truth is, I stand here not as Prince Harry Pat Tillman Award recipient, but rather a voice on behalf of the Invictus Games Foundation and the thousands of veterans and service personnel from over 20 nations who have made the Invictus Games a reality. This award belongs to them, not to me. That said, it is of great importance to me to highlight these allies, athletes, and their amazing families for their achievements, their spirit, and their courage at every opportunity, especially on nights like this, in front of people like you.
The absolute gall of him. He's collecting the award on behalf of other people. What is wrong with him and his wife? How can they not see how jarring this must be for Pat's mother and family? It beggars belief. They don't want him to pick up the award, even if he believes he's picking it up on behalf of others. He should respect that. Any last shred of credibility that he had is well and truly gone. How embarrassing. Whilst here in the UK, the family, the royal family, has practically pretty much turned his back on, are going through a tough time, to put it mildly. But a wonderful rainbow on the horizon. The beautiful Princess of Wales, Catherine, will be presenting the men's final trophy at Wimbledon tomorrow. We wish her all the best. Thank God.
Inside Buckingham Palace, there was silence to no official statement, but royal insiders whispered that the king was deeply embarrassed by his son's public choices. Prince William, sources claim, was disgusted, believing Harry's acceptance of the award was a mockery of true military honour. Even among Harry's former comrades, disappointment was the only reaction that mattered. Many royal watchers believe Meghan Markle's influence looms large behind these decisions. They argue that Harry's every move, every speech, every appearance is carefully orchestrated to reshape their brand as global icons of virtue. But as critics point out, you can't build integrity out of optics. The veterans community sees through the show, and they aren't applauding. Commentators now say this moment marks the collapse of what was left of Prince Harry's moral credibility. Is no longer seen as the brave soldier, but as the royal runaway chasing validation. For many, this award wasn't an honour, it was a headline. And the cost of that headline? His reputation. The Veterans Award could have been a bridge to redemption. Instead, it became a mirror reflecting just how far Prince Harry has drifted from the man he once was. The soldier who stood for service now stands accused of self-promotion, and as the world watches, his credibility fades into the past he left behind.